So in Game 3 of the Hurricanes-Bruins series, Justin Williams did some pretty out-of-character stuff.
Krejci won a face-off. DeBrusk couldn't shoot. There's a long one from Kylo and a rebound lying in front. David Backes pounding on it. And Carolina Hurricanes pounding on Backes.
And this one's not going to count because you can't push the goalie through. You got Jake DeBrusk and Backes both plowing in front of the net.
Well, to be fair, Travis, if I had to eat a poop sandwich, his words, not mine, I'd be pretty upset too.
Did he say that?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Definitely said that after Game 2.
Either way, it got me thinking, what's the line in playoff hockey?
So at the end of the day, this is kind of how I look at it. And this is where I think fans sometimes have a back and forth. You kind of have to just trust the refs, which is a foreign concept, I know, but that they're going to call it evenly in terms of missed calls. So one of the things I hate is in the final 5 minutes of a game, if it's a close game, unless it is the most obvious penalty, like a guy takes his stick and pulls a guy down, you kind of have to let some things go with the flow of the game. I don't know how else to describe that. If it's a flagrant, you said this before, obvious penalty, you do have to call it. Okay? But if it's something like it's a corner and a guy maybe fell down and he stepped on a stick, you have to let that go, in my opinion, and let the players decide the game. That's really where it comes down to me, is the players should be the ones that decide the game, not the referee. But we have to trust the referees to let them do that, to enable them to do that.
Yeah, I think with that being said, I think the refs sort of have to set a tone early on in the game on how they're going to call it. Because if it's inconsistent, if they're letting a lot of things go but it's inconsistent, that's an issue.
Yeah.
But I think if at the beginning of the game they're letting certain things go and then players realize, oh, they're letting stuff go, and then they know how to play the rest of the game, that's more okay. I definitely don't want to see more calls in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, there's been a few controversial calls in this playoffs as a whole, but I think that happens in every Stanley Cup playoffs. Yeah,
every sport.
Yeah, no, it's gonna happen no matter what. I think at the end of the day, there's 7 games.
You're gonna be hard pressed to convince me that players are trying to take penalties in a game like that, but stuff happens, right? So there's called. I mean, the equivalent of what we're talking to is in baseball. When an umpire has a bigger strike zone or smaller strike zone, as long as he calls the strikes and balls consistent, as frustrating as it is, it's even for everybody. It's when it goes one way or the other. Now, of course, when a ref makes a call for one team, the other team automatically thinks they're against them. But look, refs know this. Refs know they're going to be blamed. I would say every call they make is wrong to somebody.
Yeah.
So I just think you kind of let the players decide the games the best that you possibly can. Don't do anything flagrant. Don't be the player that does that. If you're getting cross-checked in front of the net, stand on your feet. Okay, don't fall down. You know what I mean? But yeah, obviously, look, there's a line here, but we want to know what you think. And again, this is something that's really going to become a debated topic, and I'm hoping that the discussion continues below. But what is the line in a playoff game for calls at any point in the game? Should they let it go? Should they call it evenly? Should they make every call? Should they really play it by the book? What do you think?
Yeah, I would even say to expand on that, because there's been a lot of talk on video reviews and do you really want more calls in a game?
No.
Do you want video reviews?
I answered that.
It's do you want video reviews of calls you think might be wrong? I think that could get really dangerous really fast with this. This isn't a slippery slope argument. I just think that games would start taking as long as baseball games, and it would slow everything down so much. I personally wouldn't want to see it, but if that's what everyone wants, that's what they do. But I don't think that that's the direction we want hockey to go in.
Maybe we should rely on. That's a bad idea, using the NHL video games. You'd never get a call.
Oh, dude, we shouldn't use the NHL video games for anything.
EA Sports.
It's a bad game.